All good things must come to an end.
Hey buddy. What's up, my wizards? It's Dev from SBMTG. Usually we got decks. Today we got something slightly special for you. But hi Ziggy, you're just up here hanging out. In any case, we got something kind of special. Today, I figured, we got just a month left in this current format. It's probably time to sort of go through and eulogize some of these cards that we're losing from Cons and Fate Reforged. Those are the two sets that are rotating. And sort of talk about the impact of us losing these cards, maybe talk about some other cards associated with them, and celebrate a little bit and mourn for other cards as they leave the format. Today, I'm going to do just gold, artifacts, and lands. Tomorrow, I'll have the rest of the 5 colors in one video, and I'll also have a video tomorrow about sort of some cards that never made it, a short, small, eulogy list of those cards that I really wish would have had a chance, but never really, got to be contenders in standard. I'm gonna miss those. But in any case, today we're gonna talk about gold, artifacts, and lands. You can also check out a spoiler video that I've got up today as well. I've been working hard for you guys lately, and in just a couple of days I'll have more no cons, no Fate Reforged deck techs. So look forward to all that, and sub if you're new, and don't forget to like the content if you enjoy the content. If you don't, that's fine. You don't have to. Don't feel obligated. But let's talk about some stuff that we're losing from Cons and Fate. Let's go ahead and jump into that. We're talking about gold artifacts and lands today. Really gold colorless and lands. So let's start with the lands. Let's get this out of the way. Fetch lands, gone. Fetch lands are donezo. I asked you the other day in a video to tell me in the comments how you felt about fetch lands leaving the format, and there was a resounding yay. If you get the off out of here, fetch lands, except you guys didn't say off. You used other words. I feel like my subscriber base is a lot of budget players. I totally get that. And so fetch lands being 15 to 20 a pop is not really conducive to a lot of people's wallets. So, geez, Ziggy's back. Hi. So I get why a lot of people are happy. But, there are good, there are ins and outs. There are goods and bads, positives and negatives, pros and cons. Playing high level Magic, people that want to do that, and building tier 1 and tier 2 decks, fetch lands are just your absolute best friend. They fix your mana in amazing ways. They allow you to do all kinds of crazy things, and really just allow almost any strategy to work. So from a deck building perspective, it's gonna kind of suck to lose these, but from a strictly how much money does it cost to play this game perspective, which is really, really important, a lot of people are really happy to see these cards leaving, myself included, to be honest with you. While we're talking about the lands, from a budget perspective, it really sucks to lose the tricolor lands. This is just an easy way to build 3-color decks. 4 of these goes a long way towards building a 3-color budget deck, but the land base doesn't cost you a literal arm and leg. Like you have to saw off an arm and like your leg at the calf in order to pay for your freaking lands on the black market. And these were a great way of not having to resort to those measures, and they're gone, and that kind of sucks. But they'll probably be back. They're just perfect lands. The same thing with the life gain tap lands. I know they're not like super special to everybody, but I like these in certain decks, especially the Black-White Allies decks, and even ALE decks that want to gain a bunch of lives. So, kind of sucks to lose these, but I also have a feeling they'll be back as well. All the lands will be back. Let's talk about the colorless cards before I go into the gold stuff, because that's going to be the meat of the video. We lose Ghost Fireblade. That's the only actual artifact that I want to talk about. Ghost Fireblade was really important in the Ensoul artifact deck when Theros was still in the format just 6 months ago or so now. And it's still important to budget players who like to play Eldrazi decks. Red-black Eldrazi, blue-black Eldrazi, whatever you play. People really like to play Ghost Fireblade because it just makes a lot of sense in those decks and is really, really good, it turns out. So it kind of sucks for those players that Ghost Fireblade is leaving. But the thing it really sucks to lose, as far as the colorless cards go, is Ugin the Spirit Dragon. And I bet a lot of people are happy about this expensive hunk of junk leaving, because all it does is blow all the permanents away the turn it comes out, and then they play an Ulamog. Like, the decks that really don't want to lose this are going to be some Esper-based decks, but not too many. Mostly the green-red ramp decks. That sucks that they lose these. This comes down fairly early in the game for a ramp deck. Blows away any enchantments, silk wrap, stasis snares, possibly, and any creatures on the board. So just really does a lot of work for those ramp decks and just getting everything off the board, getting a soft, a really hard reset, and then dropping an Ulamog like the turn later, So they won't have that option anymore. It's going to really suck for them to lose that, but it's going to be great for everybody else. Let's get into the gold cards that we're going to lose here. And there's a lot of them. You know, I feel like out of everything, you know, blue, black, white, green, red, the gold cards are what we lose the most of, to be honest with you. Just, you know, it was a running theme in Cons of Tarkir, and a lot of the best cards are gold. So it sucks to lose them. But there's definitely some stuff we need to celebrate, starting with Siege Rhino. This card is finally gone. It's finally gone. This is the symbol, the standard bearer of Abzan dominance for a year and a half out of the 2 years the card's been in the format. Abzan isn't what it used to be. I mean, Abzan aggro is still a deck. That's still a very important deck, actually, in the format. It's tier 1 right now. And Siege Rhino is the most important creature in that deck, maybe. But Siege Rhino is just, thank God it's finally gone. It's just, for a long time, the format was warped around what do we do to answer a Siege Rhino. And that's not going to be the case anymore, and I couldn't be happier. I mean, you look at the card, the first time you read it, even a novice player can understand that the card is kind of unfair, to be honest with you. The card has unfair stats, and it's just a ridiculous bomb on turn 4 they have to answer or lose. And it's, I mean, even if you can just play it, you don't have to do anything with it. You play it, it drains essentially 6 life. So that's just, the Siege Rhino is gone, or will be in a month, and I could not be happier. I'm with a lot of you people. I'm totally sick of the card. Partner in crime that Siege Rhino loses is Ascendancy. That's pretty cool because, Innistrad will probably have some graveyard-based strategies in it. We already see that in some of the spoilers. And Innistrad is just, it's based around the graveyard. That's part of the flavor of the set. So this won't be there to wreck some graveyard strategies. And to be honest with you, the best thing about it leaving is that it won't be, the old 1-2 punch, 3rd turn Ascendancy, 4th turn Siege Rhino. Thank God that that's gone too. And it has the added bonus of, we get to mess around a little bit more freely with our graveyards. So, yay, I'm kind of sick of Ascendancy. Just the 3-mana 4/4 is, not the best thing in the world. Savage Knuckleblade hasn't seen all the play or anything. But in the Abzan deck, this is just, it's all a matter of decks. The Teamer deck isn't that powerful. The Abzan deck is a signifier of the format. It is the, one of the most stable decks in the format. So losing both Siege Rhino in this is just going to be a huge blow. And, I'm not sure if 3-color decks will exist in the same capacity once the format rotates, but I think they'll still be a thing in some ways. But Abzan just, it may still exist in some form, but it won't be, it'll be a shadow of its former self losing these cards. I was just talking about how Siege Rhino and NFNs are unfair. You just read them the first time, you're like, hey, this card's really unfair. But I'm going to talk about a card that I actually am going to mourn. I'm going to call this a mourn, even though it is also an unfair creature. Manus Rider leaving the format. This is a fan favorite. A lot of people love Manus Rider, myself included. I just love the flavor of it. I mean, it's a dude riding a giant flying Manus. That's so awesome. And I love the flavor text. You can turn on at any moment if he isn't, trained properly. If he's not if every move isn't precise. So I love the whole flavor of the card, and I love that it's a 3-mana 3/3 flyer haste vigilance, 3 mana for 3/3 flyer with 2 other relevant abilities. That's also unfair stats. There's just something about Jeskai that I want to root for the card, and I want to root for Manus Rider. It's just a cooler card than Siege Rhino. So even though the card is also unfair, I'm just really, really going to miss it. Really, really good card. Let's talk about some spells out of Cons of Tarkir that we lose. Starting with Abzan Charm and Jeskai Charm. I'll talk about them at the same time. They're the best 2 charms, and they really, really define the format in some ways. Especially Abzan Charm. Something I want to point out straight away here is that Abzan Charm is the first time that we see a trend that we'll continue to see here. This is a piece of removal that can hit big creatures. We're losing this, Crackling Doom, Valorous Stance, Disdainful Stroke. That's a lot of things that can hit bigger creatures. This is one of the better ones. This is also one of Hangerback Walker's best friends, and it's leaving the format. We'll see if that devalues Hangerback Walker a little bit as far as playability goes. I'm not entirely sure. Although Hangerback Walker is going into more and more sideboards nowadays than ever. But Abzan Charm is just another perfect card for the Abzan deck. It's removal. It makes our big creatures bigger. It draws cards. It just does all the amazing things. It's leaving, and that's actually kind of good. But Jeskai Charm, yet again, I love the Jeskai. I really like this card, and it sucks that we're losing this in conjunction with Soulfire Grandmaster, because that is another 1-2 punch in the format. That can really just win the game for you over the course of a couple of turns. Jeskai Charm is good on its own, though, without SGM. For a long time in the format, there were a few decks that just loved that 3rd ability on the card, and there are still decks that do. Jeskai Prowess is definitely a thing, especially, at the sort of fringe levels. It hasn't broken through. but it won't now that the format's rotating. But this is just a really good card for that as well. So just kind of really sucks to lose. I've already mentioned it, but we're losing Crackling Doom. I got to devote a little part to that because Crackling Doom is just an incredible card. This is the kind of card that I wish could just always be in standard. You know, it's just a safety valve for huge dudes in the format, although I'm sure some players are probably happy about the cap being taken off of huge guys. And Dark Jeskai is not the deck that it once was. You know, it still sees play, it's still top 8s every now and again, but not the deck it once was. Crackling Doom, thus, not as dominant a card as it once was, but still a very important card for keeping key pieces in the format down, especially Ojutai. It's going to suck to lose this when it comes to keeping Ojutai in check. He probably gets a little bit better when this card's gone, and Crackling Doom is just good, period. It's a great card, and even though we've been seeing a lot of this lately, it didn't really come into its own until the last 8 months or so. Really 6 months or so. So it'll suck to see Doom gone because I love the card. It's a favorite of mine. And I know a lot of people love Crackling Doom, so I'm gonna miss you, buddy. I really am. Yet another piece of good gold removal, and we lose a lot of removal, period, in the set. A lot of it's gold, though. In Utter End here. Utter End, again, a card that's been coming into its own in the last few months. The dominants are really the rise and fall of Esper decks and the rise of black-white Eldrazi-based decks, you know. Utter End is an important card, especially in those latter decks, because it exiles things and lets you process. But the card is just really solid removal. Just love that it's instant speed, takes out not just creatures, but planeswalkers and enchantments, which can be really, really important in this standard. So losing Utter End is just going to be, you know, it's like losing a huge catch-all that can do a lot of different things for a control deck. So I hope we get some kind of replacement for this, but I'm not entirely sure that we will. Another card that we're losing, we're sort of out of the spells here. This is a Planeswalker, the only one I'll talk about in this video. We're losing Sword. And that sucks. I really, really like Sword, and sure, he doesn't see as much play as he once did, but I still love him in the occasional black-white deck. He's really good in the Allies deck, like really, really good in the Allies deck. Still good in the Esper Tokens deck and the black-white Tokens deck. So the card just has these little niche areas that he fits into that I'm going to miss him in all of those. And he's even a decent budget card as he's gone down in price. So he's really good for those black-white Allies players and have a couple of extra dollars to spend because that plus ability is just incredible. The fact that he can sit there and make, you know, dudes is really good. The fact that his ultimate is amazing. All of these things will be missed. And Sword is just a fantastic card that I'm really not sure why its playability didn't stay sustained throughout its life cycle, because the card is just still, as far as I'm concerned, amazing to this day and has won me very many games. So I'm pretty sure Soren's going to pop back up in Innistrad. You know, we'll see. But it's going to suck to lose this particular version. This is my favorite Soren ever. The last thing from cons I want to talk about is Jeskai Ascendancy, and really for the budget players, all the Ascendancies. A lot of budget players love Mardu Ascendancy. Temur Ascendancy has a place in a lot of people's hearts. Sorry, Temur players. Temur players are like the happiest and most gung-ho about their guild players out there, you know. Abzan players are really serious. Jeskai players tend to be control players and just like kind of, not jerks, but like people that like tricky play styles, you know, which Jeskai can be a real pain to play against. But Temur people are universally like happy people for the most part, and they're really excited about their guild. So I'm sorry that Temur never became a thing, and I know you love your Ascendancy, so I'm sorry that it's leaving. Same thing with Abzan Ascendancy. A lot of tokens players and sack deck players love this card. It's gone. Sorry about that. But Jeskai Ascendancy is the one that made the biggest splash in competitive play. Also, Sultai Ascendancy is a card. But Jeskai Ascendancy is the one that made the biggest splash in constructed play. You know, it was in like 2 or even 3 of the top 8 decks of one of the latest Pro Tours when Jeskai was such a huge thing, you know. And it saw a lot of play before the format rotated as sort of a combo engine, you know. And it still sees some play with sort of Alter the Brood type decks on a fringe level, you know, very, very low tier. But just so many different things can be done with Jeskai Ascendancy. It's a great combo engine. And it's just a great, you know, card draw engine, great looting engine, makes your creatures bigger, you know, works very well with prowess. So lots of things we missed about Jeskai Ascendancy. Just a great engine for any deck that wants to play these colors, and a lot of creatures and spells, you know, the prowess-based decks. So really hate to lose you because, you know, once you get a Jeskai Ascendancy going, it's just, you laugh maniacally. As far as Fate Reforged goes, the only gold cards I think we lose are both dragons. We lose Silumgar the Drifting Death, which is a personal favorite of mine and occasionally sees play at a one of in like Esper Dragons, obviously. Really love the Hexproof, love that it can take out small guys, but that's all I want to say about it. The real heartbreaker here is that we lose Kolaghan the Storm's Fury. That is awful for the Red-Black Dragons deck, which is really a rising star in the format right now, getting a lot of attention. Red-Black Dragons is sort of an answer to the format, so it's horrible to lose this. It really clips that deck's wings because we're not going to be able to play Draconic Roar as effectively. We're not as resistant to mass removal and sorcery speed removal without this card. Doesn't give a buff to all of our attacking creatures like we wanted to. And sure, Red-Black Dragons loses other things like Monastery Swiftspear. That's an important card for that deck. And a lot of iterations of it. A lot of them are mid-range decks. They're aggro decks that play Kolaghan at the top end. So that deck loses a lot of things. Temur Battle Rage, there are things. But Kolaghan sucks to lose for both the aggro and mid-range versions of that deck. And it's just, I hate that deck is probably going to die because a lot of people really like it and it's sort of an answer. A lot of people think that it's an up-and-comer and it could actually do things, but it's only got a month left because I'm pretty sure that, maybe another iteration of it will rise up and take Black-Red Dragon's place. But I just don't think the deck exists without this card. So, sucks to lose Kolaghan. He's another personal favorite. And something that's been seeing a lot of play as of late because Red-Black Dragons is really a deck a lot of people are trying to make work. But I just don't think it's going to happen once this is gone. That's all I've got for today. Let me know how you felt about my evaluations, or especially if I missed anything. That's important. Tomorrow, though, keep this in mind as far as me missing things. Tomorrow, I'll not only do the rest of the 5 colors, but I'll also put out a Eulogy video, a short one, for the cards that didn't make it that I really wish had had a shot in the format, But let me know if you really, really like any cards in gold, especially that I may have missed here. And we'll get talking about that. I'd really like to know how you feel about these things and what you're excited about leaving and what you're sad about leaving, because they may be completely different than what I've mourned or celebrated here. Who knows? Maybe you've been playing Absent for a year and a half. I don't know. So let me know how you feel about all these. And as always, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and check out the spoiler video that I did a little bit earlier today. You'll probably dig that if you're into Magic at all. So you probably are if you've made it all the way through this freaking thing. So do all of those things. I'll see you guys later. I'm Dev. This is Ziggy, if you can even see him down here. This is Ziggy. He's sleepy. He's sleepy. Hey, Ziggy. And we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, my wizards.